As we celebrate Black History Month, we remember those who helped to build our country without names, without rights, without freedom. News 12 Connecticut's Annalisa Klebers takes us to the Bush Holly House in Cos Cob. There's an effort to honor the enslaved families who lived and worked here in Connecticut.
When you feel like you know someone, you want their stories to be told.
They say a person's name is the greatest connection to their identity, proof of life.
Saying their name. For Candace and Hester and Cole Jr., we're going to be saying their names maybe for the first time in 200 years. So Annalisa, here are 4 of the stones that we've done over the last 2 years.
Retired history teacher Dennis Culliton founded the Witness Stones Project in Guilford.
Today, we're here to honor Hester.
To restore honor to the names of people who were enslaved in Connecticut, bringing their names and stories back to life. In Cos Cob, it was after the American Revolution when 2 families lived in the Bush Holly house, one enslaved, the other the enslavers.
Some of them took on the last name of the enslaver, so
dating back to the 1700s, the landmark is one of a handful of historical homes in Connecticut that interprets enslaved quarters.
Looking at these old houses, I always wondered who lived on the 3rd floor.
It's that wonder that pushed him to enlist some help from local historical societies and schools to research the history.
This is actually the room where they probably would have spent the most time during the day.
Heather Lodge at the Greenwich Historical Society works with students on the project.
Finding the stories of these people, the everyday bits of their lives.
This is an interpretation of the enslaved quarters of the year 1810. They slept on pallets on the floor. There were cracks in the walls and no windows, no heat source, but this was where they raised their children.
They suffered a lot, but they had each other. And they built families, and they built homes, and they built communities.
I believe that this is how history should be taught.
Teresa Vega is a historian and descendant of another formerly enslaved family.
The Bush family, who were enslaved at the Bush Holly House, they were friends and acquaintances of my ancestors in Greenwich.
Hester was remembered along with her mother, Candace. The mother and daughter were eventually freed.
Hester was quite a successful woman. She amassed a fair amount of money throughout her life.
In Hester's will, books, dresses, silver, and money to buy a headstone for her and her mother.
Meaning that they are the only formerly enslaved people in Greenwich who have headstones.
More than 160 years later, their names etched into their headstones, barely legible, fading, but there, born into slavery, died free, and now never forgotten. In Cos Cob, Annalisa Klebers, News 12.
They had each other. Doesn't that just touch your heart? The 100th memorial stone will be placed soon. Already there are 4 outside of the Bush Holly House. 2 will be added this spring. You can learn about the Witness Stones Project and how you can visit on news12.com.